Hello, good evening, and welcome to Become a Better Man. My name is Tunde Disu, and on today's program, we are going to be looking at something very, very important, but something that to a large degree, maybe all of us, we have not paid, we've not given the required attention to. We have not paid enough time. We've not given it time. We've not probably not even thought about it or even considered it to be something very important. Yet it is something that we all do, we all have to do, we all must do. Now there's a difference between doing something and knowing why you are doing it and understanding the benefit and the importance of what you are doing. Because with understanding come an appreciation of the activity or whatever it is that you and I are doing. So on today's program, we are going to be looking at sleeping. And that's why the title of today's program is Become a Better Man, Sleep. Become a better woman, sleep. Become a better person. Please sleep. Please sleep. What is sleep? What is sleep? What does it mean when you say sleep or sleeping? Sleep is a natural condition of the body and the mind, which typically happens over several hours, especially at night, during which the nervous system becomes inactive. The eyes are closed, the postural muscles are relaxed, and the practical consciousness seems to just be suspended or not functioning or not there at all. Most of these are things that you and I will experience anyway. When you sleep, your nervous system becomes inactive. Whatever it is if you're holding something in your hand, when you eventually fall asleep, that thing tends to slip out of your hand or you let it go. In most cases, when you're sleeping, your eyes are closed. Your muscles are relaxed. And that is why it's also important the type of bed that you sleep on. But more than that, you become almost unconscious. The consciousness, your consciousness is almost suspended, and you tend to not know what is happening. You can remember what happened in most cases, and that is why when some people, when they sleep and they dream, they wake up and not remembering most of the dream or part of the dream, or not remembering anything at all, because at that time your consciousness is almost suspended. And for you to remember something, you have to be conscious. You have to be aware of your being active and awake and alive for you to remember. So sleep is very important. In fact, sleep is a large, important, and familiar part of everyone's life. We all need sleep. We all have to sleep. We all must sleep. We all sleep. Sleep is as important to our lives and our bodies as nutrition and exercise is to us. It is part of. It's a form of fuel that the body needs to function at its maximum level. The truth is, we all spend about a third of our lives sleeping. Look at it this way. There are 24 hours in a day. You spend 8 hours at work, irrespective of what time you resume and what time you close. You spend 8 hours. You spend maybe 2-3 hours commuting. you spend another 2 hours eating and talking, you spend another 2 hours here and there doing other things. But eventually, a time will come, whether early evening or late evening, when you will have to go to sleep. And so you spend, on average, a typical person, man or woman, will sleep for between 4 and 6 or 7 hours. So when you look at how much of your life that you spend sleeping, you realize it's a big chunk, and that should highlight the fact that sleep is an important part of our lives. Sleep is also the master regulator of our health, and we will get into that tonight. Because when I started preparing for tonight's program and was going to talk about sleep, one of the things I did was to slightly alter my sleep pattern. Normally, I'm a 4 or 5 hours person. If I sleep for 4 hours, maybe 5, I'm fine. If I have the luxury and I just stretch it to 6 hours, then I'm on top of my game. But for the whole of this week, I've kind of reduced the number of hours that I sleep from between 3 and 4 hours. And the reason I did that was when I was preparing for this program, I came across a material that talks about the effect of not having adequate sleep. Now, if you don't have enough sleep in a day or a night, I'm sure you can cope, you can carry on as usual. But when you have it 2, 3, 4, 5 days consecutively in a row like that, I wanted to confirm some of the findings in the materials that I was studying to see what effect it will have on me naturally. And I can tell you, even right now, I am standing awake by keeping myself awake. I'm not sleeping, but I can feel the effect of the sleep deprivation in the past few days on my body and my system, the way I work, the way I function, and all of that. So I'm saying all of that to buttress the fact that sleep is an important part of our lives. Sleep is one of the things that regulates even our health. A sleep deprivation or a sleep deficit can create a wide range of health issues in our lives. If you are deprived of sleep, or if you, like I did, reduce the number of hours that I would normally sleep, if you are in a position where you can't have enough sleep, maybe because of you're not sleeping long enough, or your sleeping environment is not conducive, or whatever it is, somehow it has a great effect on your body, on your health. We've heard of people who are being tortured and they are deprived of sleep. They want to sleep, the body is saying you need to sleep, they really want to sleep, but the people torturing them is keeping them awake. It's to get them to a point where they almost become unconscious and can say anything, hoping that in the process they will say something that that they will naturally, consciously not say, or hide, or not reveal a secret. So when people are deprived of sleep, it has a great effect on our health. It can affect our immune system. It can cause inflammation. It can damage some genes in our body. And so sleep is very important. When you are deprived or when you have deficit of sleep, it can even increase your risk of terminal diseases like cancer, like heart attack, like stroke, and type 2 diabetes. So sleep is, I'm not trying to preach to the choir here, but sleep is something that For a long time, we haven't had the 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 understanding of how important it is. We know we go to bed at night, we wake up in the morning, we feel healthier, fresher, stronger than we were when we went to bed. And until I was studying for this program, I really did not know a lot about sleep like I do now. Because lack of sleep can lead to memory loss. It can lead to memory loss. Lack of sleep can affect your reflexes and your decision making process. Your ability, your skills can be affected. It can affect even your hearing, and your psychic can be affected. In fact, it's been said that lack of sleep or disruption or deficit of sleep can also impede sexual function. So, as you can see, there are so many aspects of our lives that is affected by the number of hours of sleep that we get. And so when you have sleep deprivation or sleep deficit, it may not show, the effect may not be seen immediately, but somewhere down the line it's going to come up. Now, I'm not when I talk about sleep deprivation or sleep deficit, I'm not talking about just people who have a medical condition or a medical issue like insomnia. No, I'm talking about just normal people, you and I. At least 7 out of 10 people that you know, and maybe including yourself, maybe including myself, are not getting enough sleep every day. We are not giving ourselves, we are not getting enough or adequate sleep every day. Now, I know the world we live in now prides itself on the mantra of burning the candle from both ends and staying up late and working long and all of that. But you see, scientifically it's been proven that even doing that doesn't make you more productive. In fact, it makes you less productive, because you are forcing your whole system to do something beyond where it will ideally want to go, how far you want to go. As in general, we've devalued sleep. We have not given sleep the value, the recognition, the appreciation that it deserves, simply because we don't know. We have no knowledge of how it affects us either immediately or on the long run. And if our goal is to become better, if our desire is to become better man and better woman, then we need to also put ourselves in a position. We need to do something. We need to be conscious. We need to be deliberate in doing things that will help us to be better. And part of that, a major part of that, is this issue of the amount of sleep that we get and the type of sleep that we have. So, because of this lack of knowledge, or because we're unaware of what happens when we have deficit or deficiency or deprivation of sleep, we are gradually, slowly committing health hazards to our bodies. We make great pride in saying, I only had 2 hours sleep and I'm just ready to go and all of that. You can run on that for a few days, for a few weeks. In fact, you can run on that for as long as you want, but the unfortunate thing is, because of the lack of knowledge, we are causing more damage to ourselves than we should be. We treat sleep like it's a tradable commodity. It's like everything Everything is more important than sleep. We sacrifice our time to sleep, our time of sleep, the time for us to rest and rejuvenate and re-energize and refresh ourselves. We sacrifice that on the altar of, I need to get more done. I need to do this. I need to see that person. I need to attend that meeting. I need to prepare this. When sometimes all we need is to just shut it down and go to bed. And one of the reasons why we trade sleep, why we don't pay attention, why we don't really appreciate the part of that sleep play in our lives, part of the reason is because we don't see the immediate effect of it. We don't see the effect of it immediately, rather. You can go on for months or years and you don't really know, because the effect is very, very subtle. It's very, very gradual. It's very, very almost not recognizable to the ordinary eyes. And because of that, we don't know. Sometimes the sleep deprivation and the sleep deficiency that you have now, the effect of it may not come up till maybe 5, 6, 10 years down the line. And usually at that time, you don't have the ability to relate it back to the time that you deprive yourself of sleep. Most importantly, sleep is the food that our brain needs. That is the only time that our brains kind of take a break, rest. We go about during the waking hours and running about and doing this and doing that. But at night, or whenever it is that you sleep, that is the time when your brain has the ability, the opportunity to calm down. Not that your brain goes to sleep, but let's use a computer for instance. During the day, you're using your computer, you're typing away and you're crunching figures and doing this and doing that. But then when you finish, when you want to go to bed, what do? You power it down. You shut it down. That is the time where your computer is able to calm down. All the crunching of figures and this and that, that's the time when it will calm down. And that is why also when if you speak to computer experts and all of that, they will tell you that when you are not working actively on your computer, it's a good time for you to do some maintenance work, like the fragmentation on your computer. That's the time the system searches around and kind of fine-tune its memory and where the files are stored and all of that. It's the same thing with sleep. When you are asleep, it's the time when some of your cells that are tired and half broken and disabled and that's the time for them to also recover and get themselves back ready for the following morning. That is why when you go to bed, you usually wake, if you have a good sleep, you usually wake up feeling better, feeling stronger, feeling fresher, feeling more energized than you were the night before. All of these are part of the importance of sleep. Sleep, like I said, is the food of the brain. And just like the body will go nuts if it's hungry and you're not feeding it, your brain too, my brain, our brains are screaming out, I need a break. Somebody give me some rest. I just need time to calm down and slow down and just reconnect with myself. But for as long as we deprive ourselves of sleep, or not have enough of sleep, or not have any sleep at all, we're frying our brains unknowingly, as it were. Over the years, at different levels, in different places, at different universities and research centers, researchers have been looking into the importance of sleep. They have been trying to find out why is sleep so important. And they've traced something called apnea, which is a temporary cessation of breathing, especially during sleep, to 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 what is called cognitive and psychiatric impairment. Cognitive and psychiatric impairment. When you during sleep, a time comes when you unknowingly, because your like we said at the beginning, your consciousness is almost not there, it's suspended. During sleep, there is a time when you go into what they call apnea, which is a temporary cessation of breathing. What that does is, let me put it this way. Earlier this year, or yeah, I think it was this year, I did some programs with Dr. Imoideme. We're talking about the reproductive system of man and woman and all of that. And he made a statement that really shocked me, and I believe most of you who watched that program were shocked, when he said snoring can affect fertility, especially in men. Because he said when you are snoring, it's almost as if your air tract is shut off. And so when you wake up, your body respond as in a panic mode. And what that does is, according to him, if it sends a wake-up call to all the army, as it were, in your body, all the cells that are there to defend your body, and they go into red alert mode. And he said things like that can actually affect potency in man. It's the same thing with this temporary cessation of breathing during sleep. It can lead to high cholesterol, high blood pressure, obesity, and type 2 diabetes in people, because of lack of sleep. Because of lack of sleep. I am taking my time on this particular program, not because I don't have what to say, but because I want us to really get the importance and understand the power and how crucial it is for us to get a good sleep, to get enough sleep, to get into the habit of sleeping. I know as for somebody out there, you're thinking, come on, if you sleep all your life away, then what will become of you? I am not advocating for that. I'm not advocating that you sleep for 24 hours a day or 12 hours or whatever. No, I'm saying the amount of the time that you sleep at night, make it a time that you are sleeping. Just like you will not, when you're supposed to be in the office, you will not be at home playing video games. At the same thing, in the same vein, the time that you're supposed to be sleeping, go to sleep. Go to sleep. One of the things the researcher said, they listed loads of questions for you and I to examine ourselves, to see if you are doing anything to deprive yourself of sleep. If I am doing anything to deprive myself of sleep, and hoping that in the process of answering some of the questions and answering them objectively, we can establish a pattern, and maybe some of that can then point us towards the kind of lifestyle that we're living, what is going on in our life, some of the things that we don't know what this is about. It could be down to something as simple as sleeping. I'm not going to go through all the questions. I'm just going to pick some of them in random. But the bottom line is, if out of all these questions, if you can answer yes to 4 or 5 of them, then you have issues with sleep. You have issues with sleep. So, what are some of the questions? Quickly. I often need an alarm clock in order to wake up at the appropriate time. I often feel tired and stressed out during the week. Yes or no? All these are yes or no questions. So you answer them for yourself. I often have trouble concentrating and remembering. I need caffeine to get going in the morning or make it through the afternoon. I often wake up craving junk food, sugars, and carbohydrates. I often fall asleep watching TV. I often fall asleep in boring meetings or lectures or in warm rooms. I often fall asleep within 5 minutes of getting into bed. I often need a nap to get through the day. I fall asleep easily when watching a movie. I rely on energy drink or over-the-counter medications to keep me awake. I often fall asleep after heavy meals or after a low dose of alcohol. All these and many other questions we all need to ask and answer for ourselves. But the bottom line is, if you answered true, this is a true or false, yes or no are questions. If you answered true or yes to 4 or more of these questions, then you should consider yourself as seriously sleep deprived. Because all these, nearly every one of these questions is a result, or as it's a result of sleep deprivation. It's a confirmation that is that you are not sleeping well, or you're not sleeping enough, or you're not sleeping at all. And remember what we said, part of the effect of sleep deprivation is high blood pressure, high cholesterol, obesity, type 2 diabetes. As you can see, the importance of sleeping goes beyond just putting your head on a pillow and snoring till daybreak. If you are from a family where it is in the family lineage or it's in the gene of the family to have like any of these old age diseases like Alzheimer, if by natural cause that is not supposed to happen, you're not supposed to experience that until you are about 70 or 80 years old. But if you live your life under consistent pattern of sleep deprivation, of lack of sleep, of not enough of sleep, what it does is it brings the occurrence, it could bring the occurrence of that disease forward, that you will experience it earlier than you should do because of not sleeping, of not having enough sleep. So, that's just one example. So, if sleep could have such effect, if sleep or lack of sleep rather can become like that, I submit therefore that sleep has a great control and many fundamental functions or effects on our brains. Sleep affects also our long-term memories, ability to remember. Sleep affects your emotional stability. I mean, that's no-brainer. When you haven't had enough sleep, you are easily irritated. You are easily annoyed. Easily angered. Your fuse blows up pretty quick because you haven't had enough sleep. Lack of sleep can affect your cognitive skills. it can affect even your ability to learn. Because remember, ability to learn has a part to play with your memory. And if lack of sleep affects your memory, then your ability to learn will be affected as well. I remember when we were in secondary school, especially for those of us who were in the boarding school, you will remember that immediately after the school session, we will go back to our hostels and we'll have what we call siesta. You have about an hour when everybody's expected to sleep. I know that was uncomfortable then. We didn't understand it. Nobody told us why. But the truth is, when you learn something, after going through a learning process or a learning session, one of the best ways to retain what you have learned, to allow what you have learned to be deposited deep inside of you, is for you to sleep over it. You've heard people who has a great decision to make and they'll say, look, I need to sleep over this. It's not like when they sleep, they're going to be speaking to an angel. No. It is so that the brain, the body system, everything about them can be in a position where they can make the right decision with regards to that issue. So the point I'm trying to make is when you have learned something new, or when you have come across a new understanding, one of the best ways to retain it and keep it is for you to find a way of sleeping on it. I don't mean sleeping on your job, no. But when you get home, sleep on it. Sleep on it. Because what sleep does, a part of what sleep does is, it functions like a filter. It functions like a filter. It separates the noise, the least important impressions, the least important information, the least important data. Your sleep, there's a way your sleep will separate that, will sieve it and remove it or detach it from the main information, the main knowledge that you need to hold on. And that is then locked down in your subconscious mind. But that happens when you are asleep. Sleep removes the noise, as it were, from the data that you gathered during the day. Especially in this day and age, when there's so much noise going about and this and all of that, and everything is loud and shouting, screaming, and then you go home. That's not the time for you to increase the noise level. Play your music, watching TV, doing video games. No. That's the time for you to sit back and relax. That's the time for you to just let your body, your mind, your brain and everything, that's the time for you to be quiet. Give them time to stop running. When you sleep over an information, a knowledge, a revelation, or a data that you've just come across, your sleep helps it to become a long-term memory that is formed within you. Because when you are asleep, like I said, the brain is able to remove the noise from the data. And also the brain is free then to process it, to diagnose it, to extract it, to analyze it, and to store it where it should be. But that can only happen when you are asleep. researchers have found that the risk of gaining weight can also be influenced by your sleep pattern, even greater than your eating habit. The risk of gaining weight, the risk of obesity can be greatly influenced by your sleep pattern, even greater than your eating habit. Because when you are not sleeping, when you are awake, when you're supposed to be sleeping, guess what will happen? You always want to choose something. You want to eat something. But it's not just the eating. Now you've eaten that, and you haven't got the time to digest it and let it go wherever it needs to go. It sits there in your body. That is why some of us were still working. We're working on our I can't call it 6 packs, maybe 1 lump. Part of that is also, what time of the night do you eat? Most people would eat and fall asleep right on the table there. But if you sleep, it helps your body to also relax and process what it needs to process. At Columbia University in the US, researchers reported that people who sleep for 4 hours, for at least 4 hours, those people, they are 73% more likely to become obese than those who sleep for 7 or 8 hours. People who sleep for 4 hours, they have up to 73% chance of becoming obese compared to those who sleep for 7 or 8 hours. MRI scan also shows that when you lose your sleep, there's an aspect of the brain that is triggered, and that aspect of the brain is associated with the desire to eat something. It's associated with hunger. And when you eat and you don't do anything with it, your middle kingdom will grow. There's a professor in the US, Professor James Mars, and he's one of the world-renowned experts on sleep and the effect of sleep. And he came up with a theory that athletes can perform better if they sleep longer, if they have more sleep, if they have enough sleep. Now, as you and I know, the life of an athlete is kind of 100 miles an hour. There's training, there's gym, there is this, then that. But this professor said if they can sleep longer, if they can sleep more, they'll perform better. And so he took on one American gymnast, and he experimented on her using this principle of having enough sleep. And at the Olympics, she won gold. Now, you could say, well, come on, Tony, that's just, she definitely practiced. Yes, she did. The same experiment was now taken to a secondary school in Massachusetts, you know what I mean, in the US. It was taken to an academy, and they noticed that in at a particular season, students are tired, they are full of cold, there is flu, hospital run, and it affects their academic ability. So this Professor Mars, James B. Mars, also conducted this experiment on those students to say no. Instead of their class resuming at say 8, 9 in the morning, give them an extra hour to sleep and let them resume at 10. By the end of the session, by the end of that session of giving those students that extra 1 hour to sleep, their teachers reported that all the students, they showed increased alertness, and the number of visits to health center for flu, for sickness, for this, for that, was down by 20%. 20%. Just by sleeping extra 1 hour. Question: how much sleep does the average person need to function optimally, competently, at their best? How many hours? How much sleep do you need? How much sleep do I need for us to be able to function optimally and competently and full of energy? It depends on there's no one size fits all. The challenge is that we all need to find what is our own body, what is the tolerance, what is my personal tolerance as far as the number of hours of sleep is concerned. I know some people pride themselves on, oh, I can go by 2-3 hours sleep. Some say, oh, all I need is 4 hours. Maybe that's what they need. Maybe that's what they think they need. Maybe that is what they have become accustomed and used to right now. But do you know, would they know what long-term damage they're doing to themselves? Yes, we all want to develop our business, and because I'm an entrepreneur, because I'm this, because I'm that, so I've got to burn the candles from both ends. I've got to just work on it and work on it long hours and this and that. But do you know that working long hours does not equate productivity or quality productivity? When an extra hour of sleep could put you in a place where you are sharper, your ability to focus is sharper, your ability to think and rationalize things is sharper, your ability to recognize danger and plan and avoid it is sharper, just by 1 hour sleep. If you have taken a power nap, you will understand the importance of sleep. A power nap could be for 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. But you wake up and it's like you've had 8 hours of sleep. Because that power nap is a time when your body and everything around and about you have the ability to breathe down. And now we can go again. It's like when you are driving long distance. It gets to a point where you're tired and you will see the signs on the motorway. They'll say, tiredness kills. Take a break. It's so that you can reconnect and relax your system and then get back. Because driving requires a lot of concentration. So the number of hours that you need to sleep is different from the number of hours that I need to sleep. It differs from person to person. But especially researchers have said for women need more hours of sleep than men. But the reality is women, they do take less hours of sleep than men. especially the nursing mothers. The baby is crying, they wake up. The baby needs to feed, they wake up. The baby needs to change, they wake up. The baby needs that, they wake up. Meanwhile, the old man is there just sleeping away. But the reality is women need more sleep than men because of all the changes of hormones and this and that that's going on in their bodies, in their body. So, to figure out how much sleep you need to find where is the line for you. Find out what time you need to go to bed so that you can wake up in the morning without you feeling, oh, I can't believe it's 6 o'clock. No. Find out what time you need to go to bed so that you can have enough sleep that you will wake up and feeling ready to go. And if you don't know what time, do an experiment. Maybe you are the kind of person that will normally go to bed at 10. Then go to bed at 9:45. Go to bed at 10 o'clock. Go to bed at 10:15. And by trying different options, you will find which one works for you the best. And then just stick to it. And another thing is people think, oh, I will just sleep forever. No, sleeping forever is not the solution. It's not the solution. Apart from the fact that it's not, you become unproductive. It will not scale what the issue is. Also, if you're the kind of person that you sleep and while you're asleep you wake up to do this, somebody wakes you up, maybe your husband is snoring or your wife is snoring and you keep waking you up and all of that. Again, that is something that can affect your ability to function the following day. And if you can't do that, just go to bed early. So that you've had good enough hours of sleep before the person or whatever it is that's causing you not to have good sleep at night, before they join you. Your immune system, our immune system is affected by sleep deprivation. When you don't have enough sleep, when your sleep pattern is neither here nor there, when it's everywhere and there's no routine to it, and you're not having enough sleep, these are some of the health hazards that you can easily attract to yourself. Impaired alertness and cognition. Lack of sleep will affect your alertness. That's why on the roadside you will see, don't drive tired, take a break. Tiredness kills, take a break. When you are not alert, when your alertness is impaired, it will affect your ability to be in control, to be able to coordinate, to be able to see things and reason out logically. It's like being drunk. People who are drunk they will see the trailer coming and think they can stop it with their hand, because as at that time their alertness and cognition ability is impaired. When you don't sleep enough or you don't have enough sleep consistently, it can also cause headache. It can affect your vision. It can affect even just your eyes. Like I said at the beginning, when I started preparing for this program, I decided to sleep less than I would normally sleep. And yesterday, my daughter said to me, Dad, your eyes are red. And I know why. Because I've not had enough sleep over the past few days. But more than that, I can feel slight tint of headache around this place. And so I've been drinking a lot of water and all of that. But I know the reason is because I've not had enough sleep. When you don't sleep enough, when you don't have enough sleep, when you deprive yourself of sleep, it can cause high blood pressure. It can increase your cholesterol. It can affect your hormone. It can cause you to become stressed and become it can increase your level of anxiety. It can increase your craving for food as well. If you are somebody who is on insulin and you're for type 2 diabetes and you're not sleeping, it can make your body become resistant to the insulin that you're taking. It can affect your ability to hear. It will weaken and decrease your muscles. Some people will break out in rash just on their skin because of lack of sleep. Some people's hair will start to fall off. Some will gain weight. Some will there are so many things that lack of sleep or inadequate number of hours of sleep can bring or can cause in your health and in my health. Ladies and gentlemen, sleep is one of the most important aspects of our lives. It's one of the most important aspects of our health and our longevity. But if we keep neglecting it, if we keep refusing to take enough sleep and sleep enough, the effect on our health, it's not funny. It's not funny at all. Researchers said every major disease in the developed world today, things like Alzheimer, like cancer, obesity, diabetes, all of them and many more, they have there's a correlation between them and very strong causal links to deficiency of sleep. Yes, you need to finish that project. Yes, you need to deliver on that assignment. Yes, you need to finish that cash flow projection and everything else that we say we have to do. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not against that. On this platform, we talk a lot about empowering people, and you've got to do your part and play your part and put yourself to it and all of that. But in all of that, you still need time to sleep. You need time to sleep. Because sleep is a master regulator of health. Sleep is a master regulator of health. You too can testify to it. You've worked all day and you are tired. But you drag yourself to bed and you sleep like a baby. When you wake up, you're full of energy again. That alone should tell us how important sleep is. Don't play with your time of sleep. Don't deprive yourself of sleep. Now, again, I am not advocating laziness and just goofing about and all of that. No, that's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, I'm saying don't sacrifice your health of tomorrow on the altar of sleeplessness today. Because when you have enough sleep, when you have enough rest, number one, your health will be sound. All these diseases and this and that will have no room around you. Number two, you will be sound. You will be sharp. You'll be focused. You'll be energized. You'll be go, ready to go when you have enough sleep. My prayer is that God will give all of us the understanding. God will help us to understand. Because irrespective of how much you have accomplished, you want to accomplish, you could accomplish, if your health becomes a challenge, what's the point? What is the point? So let's look after ourselves. Let's preserve our bodies. Let's take care of our systems. Let's have enough sleep because it's good for us. And I'm so convinced about this that after 4 days of me reducing just the number of hours I sleep by 1 hour or 2 hours, I can tell you the difference I feel in myself. Imagine somebody doing that for weeks and months and years. Somewhere down the line, it will catch up with you. The goal, our goal, is to arrive at a place, at a point, at a destination where people will see us and know that we are better men and better women. And part of the journey towards reaching that goal, towards arriving at that destination, is that we must maintain, preserve, and guard our health. And part of that is having enough sleep, adequate sleep, sufficient sleep, long enough, comfortable enough, satisfying enough sleep, so that all these diseases that has been traced to and loosely connected to sleep deprivation will have no room in our lives. Thank you for today. I know today is a bit laid back, it's a bit kind of solemn, and it's because, number one, the topic is something that we all know. Number two, having put myself through it, I can tell you the difference, and I want to be able to share that with you, and I hope you that has come across from the program tonight. Please, if you have not shared this program, click the share button. Let somebody know about it. Let somebody also benefit from it. You could be saving somebody's life, somebody's marriage, somebody's business, somebody's children, somebody's health. You could be saving it just by sharing this message. Once again, I want to thank you for your love, your support, your commitment, your dedication, and your willingness to be part of this platform every week. I appreciate it. I honor you. I give you big hands of kudos, because it means so much to me. Thank you. So until we meet again next week, please do have enough sleep, because it's good for you. I'll see you again. Bye-bye.